Most men think peace with women comes from agreeing more, but that's a lie. You don't stop arguments by giving in, you stop them by understanding why they start. See, a woman doesn't argue because she hates you. She argues because she doesn't feel safe with you in that moment. Not physically, emotionally. And here's the twist. Every time you raise your tone, withdraw, or act like it's not a big deal, her mind interprets it as emotional danger. You think you're being calm. She thinks you're leaving her. That's why logic fails. That's why silence backfires. Today, I'm going to show you the dark psychological truth behind why women fight and how you can stop every argument before it even begins. Not by being weak, not by being cold, but by becoming emotionally untouchable, the kind of man who turns chaos into calm without losing his strength. So listen closely, because once you understand this, you'll never fight with a woman again. 1. The silent war. Most men don't see coming. Most fights don't start loud, they start quiet. A sigh, a shrug, a shift in your tone you didn't even notice. You see, women don't argue over facts, they argue over feeling. You might be saying all the right words, but if your tone carries tension, frustration, or even indifference, she'll feel it as rejection. It's not about what you said, it's about what your energy communicated. Years ago, I learned this the hard way. I'd walk into an argument thinking I was calm and logical, but my tone told another story. She wasn't responding to my words, she was responding to the emotional message beneath them. That's when it clicked. I wasn't arguing over issues, I was arguing over signals. Here's the truth, women are emotional mirrors. They don't just hear, they absorb. Whatever energy you bring, they reflect it back, magnified. You send frustration, you get chaos. You send calm, you get softness. That's how most men lose fights they never meant to start. When you understand that, everything changes. Because peace isn't about walking on eggshells. It's about mastering your tone. Once you can stay calm without going cold, confident without being cruel, you become impossible to argue with. You're not controlling her, you're controlling your own signal. 2. The amplification principle. Here's something wild. Women are emotional amplifiers. Whatever emotion you feed them, they multiply it. Not because they're dramatic, but because they're designed that way. From an evolutionary standpoint, women had to read emotions for survival. A mother who could sense the smallest change in her baby's tone kept her child alive. That instinct still exists. So when you talk with a slight edge or irritation, her system reacts like there's danger. It's not conscious. It's biological. Give her calm and she'll reflect peace. Give her tension, she'll reflect war. This is the amplification principle, and it's one of the most misunderstood truths about female psychology. Men who don't get this keep calling women crazy. They think emotions come out of nowhere, but nothing comes from nowhere. It comes from you. Once you accept that her emotions are amplifying your input, everything flips. You stop asking, why is she overreacting? And start asking, what energy did I send her? That's emotional leadership. It doesn't make you soft. It makes you powerful. Because when you can manage your own state, you become the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set the emotional temperature and she follows it. That's not control. That's awareness. And awareness is power. 3. Why logical men lose every argument. If you're a man who prides himself on logic, I get it. You think calm, rational explanations should solve everything. But logic doesn't work on emotions that feel unsafe. When a woman feels emotionally disconnected, she doesn't hear your logic. She hears distance. You think you're being reasonable. She feels you pulling away. That triggers her deepest fear. Emotional abandonment. She's not reacting to the topic anymore. She's reacting to the threat of losing connection. So what do? You meet her emotion first, not by agreeing, but by acknowledging. You say, I get why you feel that way. That makes sense. That single sentence disarms more fights than 1,000 logical explanations, because what she really wants isn't victory, it's validation. She wants to know she's not crazy for feeling what she feels. After that, you can bring logic in, but not before. The order matters. Connection before correction. That's how you lead emotionally. The truth is, women stop fighting when they feel understood, and men stop fighting when they feel respected. Give her understanding, and you'll get respect every time. 4. the warmth sandwich. Let me teach you a move that'll save your sanity. The warmth sandwich. Here's the formula. Warmth plus truth plus reassurance. Start with warmth. Lead with love or care. I care about us. Then give your boundary or correction, calmly, directly. Finally, end with reassurance. We're okay. I just want us to handle things better. It's that simple. See, when you give truth without warmth, she feels attacked. When you give warmth without truth, she loses respect. You need both. You're not scolding her, you're leading her. You're saying, I care enough to correct you, but I'm doing it with love, not ego. This method works because women associate emotional safety with love. When she feels that safety, her nervous system relaxes. That's when logic can finally land. Practice this and you'll notice something crazy. She'll start wanting to communicate better, not because she fears you, but because she feels connected to you. That's leadership, quiet emotional leadership. The kind that doesn't raise voices, just standards. 5. Emotionless men make women panic. A lot of men, after being burned by conflict, go numb. They think if they just stop reacting, they'll stop fighting. But emotional flatness doesn't calm women. It scares them. When you go emotionally cold, she feels like you've disappeared. To her, that feels like the beginning of the end. So she'll push, poke, and test. Not to annoy you, but to wake you up. She's saying, are you still here? That's why being unbothered can sometimes backfire. Calm doesn't mean disconnected. Calm means present. You need what I call tone mastery, removing irritation and frustration, but keeping warmth and care. You're steady, not distant. Firm, not harsh. That's how she feels safe. When your calm feels connected, not cold. And once she feels that, she'll stop testing, because she finally feels something stronger than her fear, your grounded presence. 6. The curious observer. When conflict rises, most men fight or flee. Smart men observe. Instead of saying, you're overreacting, say, I'm noticing some tension. What's really going on? Curiosity kills defensiveness. The second you start trying to understand instead of trying to win, the whole dynamic shifts. You're no longer her enemy and you're her ally. That instantly lowers the emotional temperature. You'll be shocked how many arguments dissolve just because you asked the right question. Curiosity makes her feel respected, not dismissed. It shows emotional maturity, and that's something most men never develop. See, when you become curious, you stop reacting. You start responding. And in that moment, you hold all the power. Remember, calm curiosity is the highest form of control. 7. Leadership through warmth. Here's where you turn everything into power. Leadership through warmth. When she's emotional, don't match her storm. Anchor it. She raises her tone, you lower yours. She gets shaky, you get steady. She spins, you ground her. You don't need to say much. Your calm becomes contagious. You become the emotional anchor in chaos. Say things like, I can see this matters to you. Let's fix it together. Mean it. No sarcasm, no mockery. When she sees that your calm isn't cold, it's grounded, she'll melt into it. That's masculine containment. It's strength without tension. And when a woman feels emotionally contained, she stops fighting because she feels safe. That's how you build attraction and peace at the same time. Not through dominance, through direction, not by force, by presence. Master this, and you won't need to argue because she'll naturally follow your calm. Here's the truth, brother. You don't win fights with women. You end them, not by force, but by awareness. Every argument is just an emotional test. She's not testing your logic. She's testing your emotional strength. If you can stay calm, warm, and present while keeping your boundaries, you'll never need to raise your voice again. That's dark psychology at its best. Not manipulation, but emotional control. So next time things get heated, don't withdraw. Don't explode. Lead, and watch how peace becomes your new normal.